Can anyone say that they are seeing me on any of the platforms, please? Just put in the comments. Is anybody seeing me on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn? Please put the comments. Okay, great. Thanks, Massim. Okay, good. Thank you. So we'll just start in a minute. We'll wait for other people to join. I don't know how many people, there's quite a few people registered. We'll just wait for a couple of more minutes because people are normally a little bit late because they're busy in their work lives or whatever. Thank you, Alison. Thank you, Simon. If anybody's got any questions, that doesn't have to be related to today's topic about resume CVs, but anything to do with executive career management, save them till the end, and I will have a Q&A at the end, and I'm more than happy to go through anything to do with your career management. Okay, let's start because people will join as we progress. So this is the first of many LinkedIn lives I intend to do. I intend to do one every 2 weeks, but I'm adding one next week that I wasn't able to do a couple of weeks ago. A week on Thursday, and because I like to educate people, so a little bit about myself. I call myself an executive career management practitioner. So I hold multiple certifications in resume, CV writing, and career management, many in coaching, executive coaching, personal brand coaching, job search coaching, career coaching, etc. And I'm a global expert. As you can see from the clocks behind, I work globally. I have clients right now in 27 different countries. and I specialize at the C-suite, the vice president level, the director level, and those who aspire to be business leaders, and then EMBAs. So I work a lot with EMBAs. I've just worked with over 2,900 executive master of business administrations, graduates or candidates. Plus, I'm a global expert in mining. Why is because I'm based in Canada, and the world head office of mining, 80% of the head offices, or 81% of the head offices of mining companies are here in Canada, and it's a natural resource filled country. That's why other political leaders, I think, want to take over Canada. So we won't go there. But that's where I am, what I do. So, and I love my job. I actually have the best job in the world. So don't think you can have the best job because I have it. But you can have, if you listen today, you can work your way towards the second best job in the world. So we're going to talk about the top 10 tips and tricks for a resume and a CV. Certain parts of the geography, certain parts of the world call it a CV. Other countries call it a resume. Basically, they are the same document. So why do you need a resume or CV? Because employers use it as a screen out or screen in. So for prospective employees. So the process of creating a resume also helps you recognize and access your strengths and accomplishments. We undersell ourselves. I'm going to say 85% of the people I network with and give free resume critiques don't sell themselves to their optimum. When you enter a job search, you are a salesperson, nothing to do with finance, nothing to do with marketing or supply chain. You are selling yourself. So you have to get into the sales mode. So hopefully today I will help you transition psychologically from being humble. Many cultures are humble. I'm thinking of particularly the Southeast Asian region, come out of being humble to being more of a sales. So we're going to talk about the tips and tricks to help you write a resume that will attract the career decision makers, whoever they may be, to call you for an interview. So a resume doesn't get you a job. It secures an interview. So think about that. It doesn't get you a job. It gets you the interview. So here are some tips and tricks, and then I'm going to go in a little bit more detail as we progress in this seminar. So do not use all caps. Use capital letters and bolding liberally. Don't block it out with caps, capital letters, and bolding, because that distorts the format and doesn't give a good impression about you. So no pictures. There are a couple of countries in the Benelux region of Europe that still use pictures, but in the main part of Europe, which up till about 3 or 4 years ago used to use pictures of yourself extensively, now that's like a no. So don't use a picture. As I say, there are a few exceptions in the Benelux region. So having the word objective and the word profile on your resume for the different sections dates you considerably. So don't have those words. I haven't written the word objective or the word profile on a resume, on a CV, probably for about, I'm going to say 15 years. So don't have those titles of the sections on your CV. So excessive use of abbreviations or acronyms of industry or skill-specific jargon. If you use acronyms, you need to spell them out once, first time, and put in brackets next to that acronym, next to that full word, the acronym, and then you can spell it out. So, for instance, I'll give you an example. In finance, financial planning and analysis is known as FP&A. So if I was to write a resume or a CV for a financial executive, I would put financial planning and analysis in the skill section and in brackets FP&A, and then every time you mention FP&A in the body of the resume, the CV, you can then put it in the acronym format. So no personal information. I can't believe it. I'm still seeing lots of personal information, including age. Well, I don't know why people do that. Age, your date of birth, your gender, your marital status, your religion, or your political persuasion. Unfortunately, sadly to say, we are still in a discriminatory age for a variety of reasons, and that information tends to cut you out. So I've seen recently mother's maiden name, which they used to use a lot in Southeast Asia, and the color of your hair and all sorts of things. Eliminate all those. No. Just business information. So obviously this goes without saying, but I still see it a lot. Spelling and grammar mistakes. That's a cardinal sin. One mistake can count you out of a job. What does that tell a future employer about you? You haven't proofread. So when you prepare a resume, after you've prepared it, show it around to other people and get their opinion on it, and get them to proofread it, because the more times you proofread it, the better it's going to be for you. The font. Now, this is all a lot of psychological build-up to creating a format, a good format, and the wow, what I call the wow factor, to entice the reader after it's gone through that ATS. And we'll be talking extensively about applicant tracking system, ATS, in a few minutes. But so the font can play a huge role. Still today, I see so many resumes, so many CVs written with the Times New Roman font. Now, that to me, for those that can remember, is like Courier was to the typewriter many, many years ago. It's a very, very dated font. You want to be more up to date. So what are the fonts I use in my resume writing practice? Well, I use extensively Calibri, Cambria, Georgia, Helvetica, Arial, Garimond, Palatino, Tahoma, and Verdana. Don't have one of those squiggly fonts that, they're very nice graphically, but they won't go through that scanning machinery. Use a plain font, but definitely don't use Times New Roman. That's a cardinal sin. So there's three different types of resume formats. So let me lead you through them. So there's the reverse chronological, which is sort of self-explanatory. And then there is the functional, which is a skills-based resume. So that today is used when you have over 18 months of being off work. But there are other ways around getting around that. And if you have had a gap in your career for various reasons, I am more than happy to, anybody who's attending today, I'm more than happy to give you a free, no obligation resume critique. In fact, I'm going to give you put my email address on the board here, and you can mention that you were at this seminar and the webinar, and I'm more than happy to give you a free, no obligation 30-minute critique. So there are three formats: reverse chronological, which is self-explanatory; a functional, which is a skills-based resume, which I haven't written probably since about 2003, 2004. And then there's the combination. So that's the combination of both the reverse chronological and the functional. So today, most commonly used format is, and the one that will pass the ATS, that applicant tracking system, that scanning machinery, is the combination. So if you do have a gap, there is a reason for that. Be open, be honest. Don't hide that gap or leave it out, because that raises the doubt in the human resource or the executive recruiter's mind. Well, why is this guy what's he been doing for the last year? What's he been doing for the last 18 months or so? You don't want any red flags. You want green flags. So there could be a reason why you've taken time off work. It could be you've gone back to school, back to university. You've done an academic sabbatical, or you've taken a personal sabbatical, a travel sabbatical, or you've had to caregive. You've been a caregiver for somebody of your family, elderly parents, or a spouse, or kids. Or you've taken a break because you've had, I've got one client right now, he's taking a break because he's got a very complicated, very, very complicated estate. He's an estate trustee for members of his family who sadly passed away. And that's going to take him about 5 or 6 months, maybe even longer, to sort this out. And it's a full-time gig. So he's taking time off work. But you show that in your resume, your CV. Be open, be honest. So let's take a journey from top through now to bottom of your resume. So obviously at the top you have your name. You have your name that you are known for. And this is a bug of mine. Have the same name on your resume, your CV, as you do on your LinkedIn profile. So if you've got 3 names on your LinkedIn profile, have 3 names on your resume, your CV, and vice versa. And don't put, like if you are Richard, don't put Rick on your resume and then Richard on your LinkedIn profile. Synergize the two, because if I had your resume, I received your resume, the first thing executive recruiters do and HR professionals do when they receive your resume and they want to put you, they're thinking about putting you in the talent pile, is go to your LinkedIn profile. And that's another webinar coming up in a few weeks' time. But so you need to synergize, need to have exactly the same name as you have on your LinkedIn. Okay, the two should be exactly the same. So you have your name, you have your city, your state, your province, and if you're or county, depending on where you are in the world. You don't need your full residential address anymore. And you would also, if you are going internationally, you need to have your country where you are currently living. Then you need to have your mobile number, your personal email address, not your business email address. So if you are in the corporate life and you have your business address, what does that tell me if I was a career decision maker thinking about putting you in the talent pile? That you're going to use, if I employ you, you're going to use the company business address for personal matters. Have a professional email address. No Hotmail, 0 Hotmail. Don't have a Hotmail account. Hotmail is considered highly unprofessional. And then you need to have your customized LinkedIn address. So make sure when you sign up for LinkedIn, and I will talk about this in my LinkedIn presentation, but it's worthwhile talking about it now. If you have got numbers and letters after your name, your LinkedIn URL, you haven't customized it. That's the default that LinkedIn gave you when you signed up, whenever. So you need to go and take those numbers and letters out after your name for 2 reasons. A, it's far more professional to put on your resume, your CV. Plus, this is the killer. Google, in its algorithm visits to your LinkedIn profile for free, will give you a 400% uplift in algorithm visits to your LinkedIn profile. So you need to go and take those numbers and letters out after your name. Now, if your name is Joe Smith, there's thousands and thousands of Joe Smith. Be creative. You can have Smith Joe or Smith J. And if you've got a middle name, you can put that in there. Or if you've got a middle initial, be creative. See if you can eliminate all those numbers and letters. So you need to have your phone number, your email, a professional email, no Hotmail, your customized LinkedIn address. And this is just new in the last, I'm going to say 2 or 3 months, been programmed into that ATS. You need to have your 10-digit Zoom address. So Before the advent of ATS, that applicant tracking system, we used to put the acronyms for your degrees, diplomas, designations, etc., certifications, right next to your name. Don't do that now. Put it underneath your name. Why? Is because the scanning machinery, if you've got an MBA, excuse me, will think your name is MBA. It will take all the designations, all the degrees, diplomas, etc., and think that is your name. So you need to put them underneath your name now. Keep the resume length to a maximum of 3 pages. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. There are a few exceptions. Because I'm an ex-police officer, I write a lot of expert witness resumes. Those are people who are going to appear in court. They are justice from the justice system, physicians and surgeons. I'm writing a resume, or one for an odontologist right now. So forensic dentist, his CV goes to 16 pages, but that's for defense in a courtroom. So 3 pages maximum. So if you have over 7 years work experience, not is in capital bold letters, have a 1-page resume CV. That is like a cardinal sin. I see so many business leaders who've got upwards of 10 or upwards of 7 years work experience, and definitely 20 years experience, have a 1-page resume. You are doing yourself an injustice, and it won't go through that very particular ATS scanning format. So don't do that. You are definitely counting yourself out of opportunities. I see many 1-page resumes, CVs from business leaders each week, and it's no wonder they're not getting any traction, any interviews. So don't have a 1-page. And the trick is to fill pages. So you don't have a 2.5 page, a 2.25 page, a 2 1/3 page resume, CV. You either fill 2 pages or you fill 3 pages. So fill 2 pages or fill 3 pages. If you have 2.5, 2 1/3, 2 1/4, that sends a psychological message to the person at the other end. You haven't got enough to fill that particular page. I know everybody who's online here right now and on the replay will have enough to fill either 2 pages or 3 pages. 3 pages for a business leader, 15 years and up, is the standard. But don't go 1 character more than 3 pages, because if you do go to 4 pages, the statistics are ginormous against you. I mean, here in Canada, if you go to 4 pages, you reduce your chances of having it read by 93%. In the UK, it's 95%. Use action verbs. Action verbs add a little bit of excitement, the wow factor to your resume. Remember, I said a few minutes ago, you are in a sales mode now. You are selling yourself. So use action verbs. And I see on sale, let me give you an example. I see on sales resumes, and by the way, sales, the 3 worst resume writers are sales, or functions are sales, marketing, and human resources. Sales, marketing, and human resources. I very rarely see good CVs or resumes from any 3 of those functions. Let's use one example. The word increased. I see that increased on a sales resume, maybe a dozen or 15 times. What about boosted? What about propelled? What about catapulted? What about uplifted? What about raised? What about elevated? So use action verbs. If you want to go to my website, aneliteresume.com, www.aneliteresume.com, go to the resources section. You can download lots of ebooks, and one of the ebooks there is 500 action verbs for free. So 500 action verbs. So use different action verbs and excite the audience. So you can use the same action verb between page 1 and page 3, but you can't use it between page 1 and page 2. So you can, in Word, when you're writing a document, doesn't matter whether it's a resume or another document, you can go to the synonym section and you can look up different synonyms, action verbs, etc. So today, I've been writing resumes for 31 years, and resumes today look totally different, not just because of the ATS, but the perception of what people are looking for at the other end, the career decision makers, has totally changed. It was okay many years ago to just put your responsibilities. Today, they aren't interested in responsibilities except for number of direct reports, your indirect reports, your CapEx budget, your OpEx budget, and your P&L, if you are a leader. They are interested in you as a performer, delivering accomplishments. So this is where you have to get into the sales mode. You have to get into the mind of thinking about all your accomplishments, all your sales performance. So I build all my resumes, and I write a resume or a CV every day for a client somewhere in the world, are performance driven. So I build it around, and many people will know this, I build it around an acronym called STAR. So situation, task, action, result. Situation, task, action, result. STAR stories. Now, the ATS scanning machinery, one character wrong, one bullet wrong, one line wrong, it's that sensitive, will count you out if you go over, have more than one block of text, more than 3 lines, so 4 lines or more. When you write your STAR stories, you need to have 3 lines maximum. Now, many people have got some amazing STAR stories. So you can do situation as 1 bullet and then sub-bullet the task, the action, and the result. But maximum of three lines per bullet. So in other words, you got 12 lines, but I've never been to 12 lines. But you can, so STAR, 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 STAR. STAR stories are very, very important. How many STAR stories? Pack your STAR stories out at this end of your career, because we read from this end, we read down the page through to your early career on page 2 or 3. But pack them out at this end. There is a rule of thumb: 1.5 STAR stories per year. 1.5 STAR stories per year. So for every 2 years, you should have 3 STAR stories. If you can put 4 or 5 in your most recent or your current employment, that will work even better for you. So we are focused. We are in a very performance-driven society, and they're going to hire you because you can make the money, save the money, streamline operations, eliminate headcount, eliminate new processes, strict risk management, corporate governance. The list goes on and on and on. You need to tell STAR stories and have as many metrics. So use your currency wherever you are, euro value, pound value, Canadian dollar value, US dollar value, etc., and percentiles as much as you can. So try and think about this. Is where you're going to learn a lot about yourself. Writing your resume is going to make you think about, well, who I am, and it increases your value. When a client engages me, I get them to do a lot of homework, and it really pushes them to really understand who they are. They get to know who they are, and they transition from being humble to more of a salesperson. So you need to think about STAR stories. It's a great thought-provoking exercise. So do a brain dump and on a separate piece of paper, a separate document, and think about all your STAR stories and as many metrics as you can. And then split those STAR stories into blocks of 3 lines: situation, task, action, result. You should spend on average 1.5 hours per year when you're writing your resume. So if you can prepare a resume, you're a 15-year person, you can prepare it in 5 hours. I'm going to tell you that you haven't put your effort into it. I know you haven't put all your effort. So 1.5 hours per year. So you need to think about that to get some ideas on the how long it's going to take you. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a long exercise. The more effort you put into writing your resume, the more rewards will come your way. So don't rush it. Don't rush it. And you should always have your resume ready anyway, because you never know when a tap on the shoulder might come today or tomorrow and you haven't got your resume and you are in a rush to get it ready and you've had all that time to get it ready. So keep it updated. Use your language, the English language or your native language to the optimum and use those action verbs. Don't be humble. Toot your own horn. This is your chance to sell you. You are a product and you're sending that product to the market. And part of that marketing is your resume on one side. You're the product in the middle. And on the other side is your LinkedIn profile. So toot your own horn. Don't be humble. And don't lie. Don't embellish because you'll be caught out. So highlight the most important things using capital letters. For instance, you highlight your job title and not your employer. So many people sell their employer by using capital letters and bold over their position. Well, this is not the employer's resume. This is your resume. It's a very personal document. So don't highlight your employer. Put the emphasis on your position. The same with your university. Don't sell your university. Sell the degree, sell the diploma, sell the certification, sell the designation. Okay, so need to promote the job title over the employer and the degree over the university. At the top, beneath your name at the top, you need to have what I call a directive. So a resume is a historical document. It takes you from today backwards. A cover letter takes you from today forwards. So this is the only forward-thinking part of your resume. So what you do beneath your name and address and whatever, you have a line to separate your contact info. And I will show you a resume in before we call it quits at the end of the presentation. So you need to have, then you need to give the directive. So that could be the generic title of the position. So if you are in business development, it could be Senior Business Development Leader. And then tomorrow you customize that. So if you saw Vice President of Business Development, you put in bold capital letters, Vice President Business Development. And then beneath your name, beneath that title there, you look for the top 4 or the top 5 hard skills in the advert you are applying to, in the job you are applying to. So you need to really scrutinize that job notice in detail and think about, well, what are the top 4 or the top 5 hard skills? What do I mean by hard skills? I mean business skills. So they are functional, skill, level, industry, or sometimes geography specific buzzwords, so keywords, not your personal skills, which is your soft skills, which are your personal skills. These are your hard skills. Look for the top 4 or 5, and then underneath that, underneath the title of the job you are applying for, you put the top 4 or 5. So you would put business development, space, bullet, space, project management, space, bullet, space, strategic planning, space, bullet, space, talent management, space, bullet, space, because those are probably the top 4 or 5 you are applying for. Keep it to one line. Don't go to 2 lines because you will blow that ATS scanning machinery away. So look for the top 4 or 5, and this helps you get points with that ATS. So under the directive, look in the job notice for the top 4 or 5 hard skills and place them here. Then underneath that, you then have your personal brand. Now, I won't go for too long on personal branding because that's going to be another LinkedIn Live topic itself, and I can go for hours because I'm really passionate about people's brands, their personal brands. In a nutshell, your personal brand is your unique promise of value, your differentiator, your value add, your competitive edge. I don't like to call it this, but some people call it this way. It's your sales pitch. Now, a personal brand has to be, don't vary from this because ATS is programmed into this number. Don't vary from this. It has to be written in 15, 17, or 19 words only. Don't go to 18, don't go to 20, don't go to 16. 15, 17, or 19 words only as a statement, not individual words, but as a statement. You have that beneath those 4 to 5 those 4 to 5 hard skills on 2 lines in bold, italics, initial, capital. So you have your directive, and then the 4 to 5 hard skills, and then your 2-line personal brand. Underneath that, you then have, if you've got different languages, if you're multilingual, you need to bring them from the second or third page where people bury them, because that is another sales proposition that elevates you up the pile if they're looking for talent with multiple languages. And as the world gets smaller, we are looking for people with multiple languages. So put your languages on a bit here. So you need to go into whether there's 3 different degrees of language skills. So if you're fluent, put fluent. If you're advanced, put advanced. Or if you're about putting your intermediate, don't go to basic. So fluent, advanced, or intermediate. Heather's got a question here. I'm going to answer all the questions at the end, but you never put a hedge. Well, I don't know where you are, Heather, but there's only a couple of countries that you put a headshot, and they are the Benelux, so Belgium, Luxembourg, and Liechtenstein. So if you're out of those countries, no headshot. But you need to have a headshot on your LinkedIn. And need to have a professional headshot. So that will come up in my LinkedIn seminar. So then you have a 4 to 6 line block paragraph, margin to margin block paragraph with your soft skills. These are the 4. Oh yeah. So Heather, no, definitely not. So you would then have your 4 key things, 4 key elements in this 4 to 6 line block paragraph. You need to have, this is a new interview question. What one word would describe you? Put that down as the first word in that 4 to 6 line block paragraph. Don't think of a wussy word. I'm not interested in a successful or passionate or driven or whatever. I'm interested in an unusual word that you will be prepared to defend. So don't just go to the dictionary and think, oh, that looks like a good word. I'm going to put that in my resume, because you're going to be asked to defend that. This is one of the new interview questions. So why did you choose that word? So you need to be prepared to defend it. So I'll give you some of my most recent clients. So audacious, tenacious, sagacious, resilient, pioneer, intrepid, robust, bold, unstoppable, unflappable. So make sure you put that one word at the beginning of that 4 to 6 line margin to margin block paragraph. And bear in mind, this is the only time in the resume, because of ATS, you can go to between 4 and 6 lines. You can't go any more than 3 lines in the rest of your resume. And then the next thing you need to describe your leadership style. How do you lead? As you know, we all lead differently. So think about how you lead. And ask your friends and colleagues, well, how do you think I lead? And get some of their input. Next one is, how do you communicate? Because we all communicate differently. Some people are hard communicators. Some people are eloquent communicators. There's all sorts of articulate, confident. There's many different types of communication. And then lastly, in this 4 to 6 line block paragraph, you need to have, what are you renowned for business-wise? What are you renowned for business-wise? Don't duplicate it from your personal brand. Your personal brand's over here, and what you're renowned for business-wise is over here. Don't duplicate the two, okay? Personal brand is separate from what you're renowned for business-wise. So 4 key things in this 4 to 6 line margin to margin block paragraph. What one word would describe you, your leadership style, your communication style, and what you're renowned for. And then you go into a section with your buzzwords. So I talked a little bit about your keywords, your business, functional, skill, level, specific buzzwords. So if you are a director or above, you need you have these buzzwords automatically. You have executive leadership. You would have resource management. So that's managing people. And you would have probably 99% of you would have budget, and you would have P&L if you are in the if you're not in non-profit. So, but then you need to divide it. So you need to think about, well, what are the buzzwords? Do a brainstorm. What are the buzzwords? If I was looking for my resume in my computer or in my CV in my computer, what business, functional, skill, level, industry, and sometimes geography specific buzzwords would you type in? So you're allowed a maximum of about 28. You can go to about 4 lines, 5 lines max. So what you do is you do the first buzzword, and then you do a pipe, space and a pipe. You do the second buzzword, a space and a pipe. And then you do a third one, space and a pipe. The fourth one, space and a pipe. And anybody who wants a free, no obligation resume critique, I do go into detail with each of you, and I show you real resumes, my clients that have generated significant results, many interviews, and I will show you in more detail about that all the sections we've been talking about. So you need to have about a maximum of 26, 28 buzzwords, and you reprioritize those, just like at the top, those 4 or 5 hard skills at the top line, you reprioritize those. So if you've got project management at the top for a job you are applying for, and the next job, it doesn't have anything mentioned of project management, you bring that down into this skill section and you put 4 more up the top. So you reprioritize them. So then coming to your professional experience, you have your employer's name. And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, you don't go to, don't bold the employer's name. You have the city and the dates of the employment over in the right margin, not in the left margin. And then you would have the job title on the second line in bold capitals. And you have in brackets underneath this, if you are in a leadership position, these metrics, which I sort of alluded to a few minutes ago, you need to have your number of direct reports, indirect reports, CapEx budget, OpEx budget, and your P&L. And if you've got offices or you're responsible for staff in 10 countries, you put staff in 10 countries across Europe and Middle East or whatever. And now you go into reverse chronological of your work experience with your current job. And then you go into your next job and your job before that. You go back on average 10 to 15 years. Don't go any more than that. You summarize it. If you've got a career history of 25 years, you can just very briefly summarize it. You can either do the job titles and the company name and the dates in the right margin, or you can put held 6 progressively responsible positions in marketing, in automotive, aviation, and whatever. Okay, so you need to put that in. And then on the bottom of the third page or second page, you put your education. Here again, don't bold the university. You're not selling the university. Yes, it's great to go to some like Oxford or Cambridge or Yale or Harvard or whatever, top tier universities, but you're not selling the universities. You are selling the degree, the diploma, the certification, or whatever. So bold capitals, the certification, and if you got Dean's List or you've got a capstone project or something, you need to put that in there, and always include the year of the graduation in the right margin. And then going further down, the additional sections would be professional affiliation. So if you're a member of a industry trade association or a designation, as a CPA, you put that there in that section. And you also, if you are a member on the executive, so you may be a secretary or vice president of that association for your local chapter, for your regional chapter, or for your national chapter, you put that in there as well. And then there are others which are quite rare. You have publication. And then if you've got some outstanding community involvement, don't put your hockey or your soccer or your cricket or golfing score or whatever, handicap. You leave those out. But if you've got some community involvement, you can put that there. Or if you're a board of director, you can put that in this section. And if you've got any patents or patents, put those there. And then references, you don't. It's a cardinal sin to have references available upon request on your resume. I haven't written that on a resume for about 20 years. So that's a waste of space where I can sell my client. It takes 3 lines, one above and then 2 lines. Resume is available upon request and below. So don't put that on your resume. That instantly outdates you straight away. But have your references ready. Have them ready, typed up, just in case people call you. And then coming back to proofread, and keep your resume, your CV up to date. So every few months, update it. So if you accomplish a star story, keep at home what I call a brag book, not at work, because you could get terminated today or tomorrow. You could get, and they might not give you a chance to clear your desk out. So keep it at home and document in that brag book your star story. And then every 2 or 3, 4 months, update your resume to the current format. And they are changing all the time. A 2022 resume is a totally different resume or CV to today's 2025 resume. So don't be caught off guard by an executive recruiter calling you and saying, I've got a perfect job for you, Martin. I need your resume today. Please, can I have it? And then you're caught off guard. That doesn't send a very good message to the recruiter or anybody else at the other end. So have your resume up to date. So as I said earlier on, I offer a free, no obligation, no sales pitch, resume critique or CV critique. Doesn't matter where you are, anywhere in the world, I will contact you. I work 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. each weekday Eastern time. And I'm more than happy to give you a 30-minute Zoom call to go through your resume from top to bottom, because I see some atrocious resumes, and it's no wonder people aren't getting any interviews. They're vastly out of date, or they're not selling themselves correctly. So you've got my email there on the screen, martin@aneliteresume.com. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, today's webinar, please go to my YouTube channel under Martin Buckland. So my YouTube channel, where there are actually 600, believe it or not, 600, some short, some long, videos on various components, various sections of executive career or career management generally, and not just referring to resume writing, but career management, how to become an EMBA and all sorts of different things. And if you see something or you don't see something that you would like me to talk about, email me at martin@aneliteresume.com and I will film a video for you and put it on my YouTube channel. There are many LinkedIn future live seminars coming up in the next few months. So I can also slot that into my calendar. So go to Martin Buckland on YouTube and press the subscribe button and press the bell button where you will be notified of any new videos. Now, I'm a very upbeat, I'm a very motivational coach. I like people to go away happy and buoyant and excited from all my webinars, but I'm just going to be very realistic here. I'm going to break it down. With executive recruiters and other people and past clients, thousands of them across the world, know what's happening. It was what we call the career shift and recruitment across the world. And every December time, a lot of us do some brainstorming on what the next year is going to look like. Times have changed in the last 6 weeks or so, big time. Why? Is because there is a lot of political uncertainty across the world. I can't give you, for my first year in probably 10 or 15 years, I can't give you what this year is going to look like. But I will tell you, I am seeing a lot of negative messages coming from corporations, NGOs, and other organizations across the world. So time now is probably to update your resume, make sure it's updated, and update your LinkedIn profile and be active on your LinkedIn profile, because I'm being honest with you. I don't like to be this way, but I'm just being realistic. I can't tell you what's going to happen this year. It's an interesting economy, and I don't know where the future of recruitment is going to go this year. So thanks for watching today. Now it's time for your turn. Ask me any question, put it in the comments, and I'm more than happy to answer any question. It doesn't have to be related to today's topic, resume, CV writing. It can be related to anything to do with career management. But my next seminar is on the 13th at 9 a.m. Eastern, and that is 6 tips to manage your executive career. So that's a week tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 tips on how to manage your executive career. Plus, I go live 3 times a week with my Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and I have career tips for a crazy world, a very quick career tip. So anybody got any question? I'm more than happy to answer any question. And I look forward to receiving your resumes. If you want a free, no obligation resume critique, just mention in the body of the email that you were attending this seminar, and we'll schedule a Zoom. So send it to martin@analyticresume.com and go look at my LinkedIn profile, and please press the follow button. I'm running out of contacts, so I can't. I can follow you, but I can't connect with you. I'm running out of connections. I've got close to 30,000 and 40,000 followers. So come on, anybody got any questions? You must have some questions. So take on board what I've shared with you today. A resume is the foundation of your career management, and you need to make that document, that 2 or 3 page document, have that wow factor, and board on all the tips I've just given you today, and if you want to rewrite it and then send it to me, say you've rewritten it as a result of listening to me today, I'll give you a free resume critique based on your new resume as a result of listening to me today. So unless anybody's got any questions, I will call it quits, and I will be back next week, 9 a.m. on Thursday the 13th, with 6 tips on how to manage your career. 6 tips on how to manage your career, and I will be putting that on LinkedIn in a few minutes. Just one more minute for any questions. See if anybody's got any questions they want to share with me. Thank you for being here today. Hopefully you have got some information. Well, it's coming up to just a little over 55 minutes I've been online, so let's call it quits. Hopefully I will see you all soon. Spread this around. I'm more than happy to give your friends, your colleagues, a free resume critique, or have them attend to my next LinkedIn Live. Otherwise, have a great week. do something this week to manage your career. It could be update your resume. It could be, we'll talk about that in a minute, Sandy. That's a good question. So, it could be update your resume. It could be more active on LinkedIn, and I'm going to be talking about LinkedIn extensively in another LinkedIn Live. So, Sandy's come together with, thank you, Sandy, with a good question here. Sandy, the question is, how do you recommend differentiating a resume from a cover letter? That's a good, great question. So a resume documents your career history from today backwards. A cover letter written in the personal pronoun, which you don't use the word I, my, he, or she on a resume. You can use it on a cover letter, and it's only one page, whereas a resume is 2 or 3 pages. Takes you from today forwards. And there are 5 different types of cover letters. So let me tell you the different types of cover letters. So there's one as a result of an advert, and that tells the reader at the other end, very compelling message, very compelling text, that the reasons why you are the perfect candidate for that particular job, and you're anxious for the interview. The next one is a result of an introduction to an executive recruiter. So that one, you have to tell an executive recruiter whether you're willing to relocate, whether you're willing to relocate globally or whether you're willing to relocate domestically. If you're not willing to relocate, tell them in that cover letter whether you're willing to travel and give them a percentile time. The next one is a result of networking. So this is where the bulk of the jobs, the hidden jobs are. Networking. So you attend a networking event, you meet Mr. Smith. He says, I'm going to introduce you to Mrs. Brown at my company. I believe she's got a vacancy. So you use Mr. Smith as the conduit. So you say something like, Mr. Smith has introduced me to you. He thinks I would be an ideal supply chain leader or whatever. And then the next one is hang on just one second here. Oh yeah, direct mail. So this, if you want to go and work for a company, bearing in mind that here in Canada, 80% of jobs are never advertised. 80% of jobs. In the US, it's 72%. In the UK, it's 71%. Never ever advertised. So think of it that way. So if you want to go and work for a company, use LinkedIn and find the person who would be your boss or your boss's boss. They may have a vacant position, and firing a cover letter to that particular person. And then the final one is what I call a PAIN, PAIN, a PAIN cover letter. So you uncover a company experiencing pain. They can't. If you're in sales, they're not producing revenue. Their clients are dropping. The customers are dropping. Their attrition is high, or whatever. So you put a business case. You do a lot of homework. You study that problem, and you network with people at that company, understand their pain, and then you've got a business case to put forward to somebody who would be your boss or your boss's boss. So 5 different types of cover letters. So Sandy, I hope that has so a resume takes you from today backwards, and a cover letter takes you from today forwards. A cover letter is 1 page, no 2 pages, and a resume is 2 or 3 pages. Hope that's answered your question there. If anybody got any other questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. I'm still here. Okay, well, I will take a break now. We're coming up to the hour. It's been a pleasure, and I will be back. Good, great. Okay, Sandy, good. So thank you very much for your question. I will be back next week, next Thursday, a week tomorrow, with 6 tips on how to manage your career on February the 13th. Have a great week, and do something this week to manage your career.